The 2022 NBA trade season has already started, and the Washington Wizards have to resolve their core issue. The Wizards must figure out who they are and solve the Kyle Kuzma equation. So, what problems are they having with Kuzma? Also, the Oklahoma City Thunder may acquire Kuzma from the Wizards. How do you think this trade will go? Keep watching for more info on all of these in this video. Starting us off, the Washington Wizards must figure out who they are and solve the Kyle Kuzma equation. What cannot be confirmed on February 8, 2023 is the Wizards need to know what to do with Kyle Kuzma. That's the day before the NBA trade deadline. By the conclusion of that day, one of two things must be true. Either Kuzma has signed a long-term contract to remain in Washington, or the Wizards have an agreement to trade him. The former doesn't have to be declared publicly that day. The Wizards only need to know, in the same manner that teams in the NBA know for months, if not years, before something officially happens, whether it's going to happen or not. Nothing else has to be mentioned about this, since the NBA may dock you an entire second-round choice, a bag of coffee beans, or something else completely irrelevant if it discovers you interfering with or prematurely starting the free agent bargaining process. Last summer, Washington looked unconcerned with Bradley Beal's impending unrestricted free agency. If Kuzma still needs to clarify that he is undoubtedly re-signing in DC, the team's only choice is the latter. It's unacceptable to lose the 27-year-old for nothing, which may occur if he becomes an unrestricted free agent in July of next year and can sign with any team. Therefore, the Wizards' future depends on the events of the following 6 weeks. What exactly is Kuzma looking for? Of course, he wants to get compensated, but he'll be paid regardless of where he goes. He's not likely to move anywhere with an established quartet ahead of him. He's been there, done that, playing behind LeBron in Los Angeles before the 2021 trade that brought him east for Russell Westbrook, along with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Montrezl Harrell. However, Kuzma's top priority is to have the opportunity to keep improving and growing as a player. In the 2 seasons he has spent in Washington, he's had more freedom than ever in Los Angeles, where he was forced to play the third fiddle to Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball, or wait in the corner for James or Anthony Davis to get the ball. The Wizards were okay with Kuzma bringing up the ball, seeking jumpers high above the break, or starting the offense with few limitations. In the heat of the battle, he has no qualms about making clutch shots, but do they win enough to satisfy him? Can they win enough games? Is the bag going to be big enough? And how will he make his decision? After scoring 22 points in Wednesday's 127-102 victory over Phoenix for the Wizards, he responded that that was a pretty fair question. However, Washington must also make decisions. The Wizards need to be fully aware of the capabilities of their most recent Big Three lineup, which consists of Beal, Kuzma, and Kristaps Porzingis. The three of them may be entertaining together. The word could is stressed. The three have only been together in 20 games this season due to several ailments, primarily that of Beal. Ted Leonsis will soon need a decision from Tommy Shepard, or at the very least a recommendation. Either re-sign Kuzma and Porzingis and risk becoming a taxpayer for a club that may be entertaining but is not competitive, or completely overhauls the squad. But we don't see how. In the past 24 months, they could have traded for either Kuzma or Porzingis without knowing the solution. Kuzma has made it evident that he will opt out of his present contract and sign a new one as an unrestricted free agent this summer, as he should. He'd be insane not to. The likes of Chris Middleton of Milwaukee, Draymond Green of the Warriors, Jeremy Grant of Portland, and Harrison Barnes of Sacramento are among his fellow free agents at forward who are anticipated to receive offers in the $25 million bracket each year. That doesn't mean Washington won't be able to re-sign Kuzma. It just means it'll be a lot more expensive. After a 10-game losing skid, the Wizards were finally beginning to regain their health when Beal tore his left hamstring against Philadelphia on Tuesday. He had just been back for over a week from having his right hamstring pulled, which had kept him out for 6 games. Being 12th in the Eastern Conference at this point in the season is a severe disadvantage. Before the Wizards defeated the hot 76ers on Tuesday, Wes Unseld Jr. stated they spoke about it as a group. They've got to make up some ground in how they play. There must be a sense of urgency. He considered it a tremendous first step to at least have the players available without injury. The Wizards' December slump was caused by roster injuries, affecting DeLon Wright, Rui Hachimura, and Bradley Beal. Naturally, this set off the phony trade machines. We have learned never to rule anything out. However, we're sure the Lakers are not getting Beal in exchange for Westbrook and the 2027 or 2029 first-round selections from the Wizards. Consider this logically, as we realize the above phrase is absurd at this time of the year. Washington is meant to deal its 3-time All-Star guard, to whom it recently paid $250 million and hasn't moved in the past 3 seasons, to Los Angeles for Westbrook, who would be there for about 3 months before leaving. And one or both of LA's remaining tradable future picks, the 2 young guys who would be selected with those choices, are now between the ages of 14 and 12. Do we understand correctly? The Lakers general manager manager, Rob Pelinka, must inquire about players in other teams to see whether they are available, including Beal. That is his responsibility. However, only some people have to accept the bait, like a northern pike in Lake Minnetonka, do they? The Wizards genuinely believe they can add rather than remove players at the deadline, and they'll likely choose a small forward who can score some shots and play defense. However, Washington needs knowledge of its current roster when healthy. We have no objections to Washington re-signing Kuzma, but we would understand if the Wizards made a trade for, say, Atlanta's John Collins. Kuzma is more talented than Collins, but not by a large margin. Collins is 26 years old, and Kuzma is 27 years old. Collins is only averaging a meager 12.3 points a game this season, while Kuzma is averaging a career-best 21.6 points per game on a career-high 47% shooting from the field. But since his prime in 2019 and 2020, when he averaged 21 and 10 for a Hawk squad that was beginning its reconstruction around Trae Young, he's been relegated to Atlanta's periphery and has been on the trade market for months. Collins wants more touches, but with Atlanta's two-time All-Star Young controlling the ball, that is challenging. Collins' 5-year, $125 million contract is already in its second year, with a player option for 2025 to 2026. He's got a very cheap contract for a power forward of plus caliber for the upcoming 2 or more seasons. Beal's top deal has, of course, locked him in. The Wizards would need to re-sign Porzingis in that scenario, since he'll almost certainly choose to finish his present contract at the end of the current campaign and become an unrestricted free agent. The Wizards have shown signs of life as they've regained their health. They've beaten the Suns twice, without Devin Booker, the considerably better Kings, and the very solid 76ers in the previous week or so. It'll be at least a miracle if they can return to the top 8 in the East. They're still not good enough to contend with Boston, Milwaukee, or Brooklyn. They must eventually form a core group, give it space to develop, and see how far it can go since they can't start again from scratch. Next, making a Kyle Kuzma trade with the Suns. This year, the Phoenix Suns have been teasing us, or it's better to say that the Suns players' bodies are taunting them. Several injuries. Injury lists include Cameron Johnson, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Payne, and Shamet. Trade is now necessary. Therefore, the Suns are interested in Kyle Kuzma of the Washington Wizards. While Cameron Johnson returns to health, the 6'9" forward Kuzma, 27 years old, may start in his place. This season, Kuzma has averaged 20 points and 7 rebounds a game. The Suns would undoubtedly improve with Kuzma. Furthermore, his contract is about to expire, giving the Suns time to decide on their long-term obligations following the postseason run. The issue is making all of the money function. A one-for-one deal does not work. According to the CBA salary matching guidelines, Kuzma earns too much to be purchased outright for Jay Crowder. Do you want to up the ante on the trade? Yes, provided that the Wizards don't take back more money than necessary because they are too close to the hard cap line. A 2-for-1 trade, such as Crowder and Okogie for Kuzma, does work well as long as the Wizards are willing to give up 2 guys. And finally, NBA mock trade. The Thunder acquire Kyle Kuzma from the Wizards. Although the Thunder have been unexpectedly competitive this year, they still need to achieve general manager Sam Presti's long-term objective, title contention. Except for the star cornerstone Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they've added plenty of components in the draft, but have yet to add another big piece to the squad via trade. In light of this, Oklahoma City could be seeking to use Wizards forward Kyle Kuzma to increase its scoring. The 6'9" forward may be added by Oklahoma City, thanks to their unheard-of stash of future draft selections, with an average of 21.4 points on 47% shooting, 7.6 rebounds, and 3.8 assists a game so far this season. Kuzma has enjoyed a career season. However, the Wizards have been the same old, same old. Washington may eventually start over with a fresh youthful core and an actual rebuild after turning 17 and 21. Kuzma has maximized his worth this year, and Washington has already looked into other options for the former Laker. Here's an example of how Oklahoma City may benefit from a Kuzma trade. The Thunder would acquire Kyle Kuzma, first-round picks for the 2024 Utah Jazz, 2025 Miami Heat, and the 2023 Wizards second-round pick would go to the Washington Wizards. And with that, that's a wrap on today's video. While the trade deadline is closely approaching, what do you think the Wizards will do with Kyle Kuzma? Re-sign him or trade him? Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.